What's up everybody, my name is Sawyer Hartman, and if you've ever wondered how some people are able to capture the most cinematic quality footage on their iPhone, yet every single time you try it turns out looking like this, yes, I am going to help you with that today. So your goal is to make your footage look as cinematic and filmy as possible, but for some reason every time you shoot on your iPhone it comes out looking like it was shot on an iPhone. So how was the last minute and a half of this video able to look so cinematic and filmy even though it was shot on the same iPhone? The answer is I have 3 techniques that help my iPhone start behaving more like a cinema camera. And when your phone behaves like a cinema camera, you're able to get cinema quality footage from it. Now, right off the bat, probably the biggest reason your iPhone content isn't looking cinematic is because you're shooting at either the wrong frame rate or the wrong shutter speed. So the real step 1 is setting up your camera. Now you're going to want to use an app that allows you to have manual controls of everything on your camera. The first thing we're going to do is lock in the ISO at 50. This is a very nice native ISO for the iPhone and will give you a grain-free image. Secondly, we've all grown up watching movies in movie theaters, and what that taught your brain is that 24 frames a second looks cinematic. Set your frame rate to 24 frames a second. Now a ton of people are familiar with these cinematic frame rates, but it's the shutter speeds that most people get wrong. In my own opinion, shooting at the proper shutter speed is by far the most important thing that you need to get right when you are trying to achieve cinematic looking footage. Now to find your proper shutter speed is easy. You take whatever your frame rate is, 24, and you multiply it by 2. You just double it. If you skip this step and just shoot at whatever shutter speed your phone wants, your footage will not have the proper motion blur to look cinematic. Your footage will end up looking way too sharp and crisp, look digital, and that is the opposite of cinematic. Once all of those settings are plugged into your phone, chances are your image will be way too bright and you'll need to figure out a way to bring it down. That's where I personally use the Polar Pro variable ND filter system for the iPhone. It literally can't be any easier. You just clip it into your phone, and then once you have it, you just turn the filter until your image is properly exposed. We use these because they're small, lightweight, compact, and most importantly use incredible glass so they don't compromise your image. But once you find the proper exposure, just click record and you are already light years ahead of where you were just shooting on your phone. Controlling the ISO, frame rate, and most importantly the shutter speed, you've already taken huge steps into converting your phone into an actual cinema camera. So tip number 2 is going to be learning how to move your iPhone in a way that replicates old cinema cameras. You know how easy it is to move your phone around? It's just lightweight and nimble and you can just pan around and capture everything. But old big movie cinema cameras were just clunky and awkward and heavy and the opposite of a phone? Well, because of this, people actually shot differently on cinema cameras and on iPhones. The biggest tip I can give you is no more pivoting from the wrist. You do not want your phone or camera to ever turn this sharply. Think about if this phone was on an old school cinema rig and it was up front and we were turning. Look at how much ground that phone is actually covering. So when your friend's walking by you now, instead of going like that, go like this. You might not think it makes a huge difference, but it does. That one simple trick in conjunction with planning your shots can go an extremely long way. I mean, you can even use something like the Polar Pro hand grip in order to give your phone more stability and make it easier to capture your cinematic camera moves. And if you're not familiar with traditional cinematic film moves, this is a little cheat sheet, and I'll make a video on it in the future explaining all of the cinematic camera moves you can pull off and how they'll make people feel. And then lastly, the final step in any filmmaking process is to give your footage a cinematic color grade. And with the iPhone, you're gonna do the exact same. And to make it easier on yourself, check in whatever manual camera app you're using to see if they have a flat picture profile. By using a flat picture profile, you're actually able to get more dynamic range in editing and preserve a lot more of the color and detail that was originally there in your footage. Now you can edit your iPhone footage in whatever desktop app you use to color your regular camera footage. Or what I did was just use one of Apple's already pre-made filters, and then I just adjusted the exposure, the contrast, and the warmth, and I was done. And in all honesty, I was shocked at the quality of footage I was able to capture on my phone just by throwing an ND filter on it and using the proper settings. Overall, I was genuinely pretty shocked at the quality of cinematic content I was able to capture on the iPhone. I didn't really know I was gonna be able to do that, so it's nice to be pleasantly surprised. Also, just massive thank you to Polar Pro, our sponsor of this video. You guys make incredible filters, incredible products, and this new one is no different. If any of you guys want to check out Polar Pro's new variable ND filter system for the iPhone, link will be right down in the description. I highly recommend it. And other than that, I hope this got you guys a little bit more comfortable shooting cinematic content on your phone. If you enjoyed this video and want to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, I make brand new film and photography related videos every single week and would love to have you here. And as always, before you go, remember, stay motivated, stay inspired, and never stop creating. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.